Hello there, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for a new webinar in the summer webinar series from Book Creator. If you are joining me live today, and you should see a go-to webinar control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. If you can find the area that says questions, and I see some of you already found it, make sure to use that space. Let me know that you can hear me, that you can see my bright yellow screen here. Let me know where you're from, and we'll start off today with a few shout outs. So if your GoToWebinar control panel disappeared, it should still have that little orange arrow that'll open it back up. You should see the question area within the GoToWebinar control panel. If you go right in there and you say hello, it'll let me know that you can hear me, that you can see my screen, and I'll start giving some shout outs. Well, welcome Martha from Vancouver. So excited that you're here. Jessica from France, welcome. Kate from Ireland, welcome. Hi there, Danielle. Hi, Gal. Welcome. Zalika from Croatia, and Danielle from Oregon, Elizabeth from San Antonio, Sonia from Oregon, Debbie from Perth in Australia, Ellen from Norway, welcome. Kathy from Ohio, welcome. Vera, so excited that you all are joining us live for today's webinar, Social Emotional Learning Activities Using Book Creator. Well, that area, that question area, will be open throughout the webinar today. So you can use that space to ask questions, to share an idea. I'll be peeking in and pausing as we go through the webinar to make sure that I can address any questions that you have. And if I don't get to it, we'll also do a Q&A at the end as well. So if I don't get to it right in the middle of the presentation, we'll make sure to have time then too. If you are joining us live today, please know that this is being recorded and that we will share this recording. The folks at Book Creator are so wonderful about that quick turnaround. Make sure this gets up on their YouTube channel. All of the webinars from this summer will be up there, and most of them are up there already since we're almost finished up with the summertime. So we are going to jump into our webinar today, Social Emotional Learning Activities Using Book Creator, and I am just so excited that you are here joining us, whether you're watching this as a recording or you're joining us live today. This is such a fun topic, and we're going to jump into all sorts of activity ideas and hopefully get you trying out some things as well on your devices. So you'll probably already see, if you haven't already, in the chat area of the GoToWebinar control panel, I put a little message about finding app.bookcreator.com in a separate browser. I'll show you it on Chrome, even though I'm on my MacBook today. So I'm really excited for us to jump into these activities. If we haven't met before, my name is Monica Burns. I'm a Book Creator ambassador, a former New York City public school teacher, an ed tech and curriculum consultant, and founder of ClassTechTips.com. And if you were following along on my Instagram stories earlier today, you might have seen that I posted a little note about today's webinar. I try my best to share lots of things, and this week I've been busy in New York City working with some high school students on creating lots of fun things, and I'm so excited that our webinar today is all about creation and making fun things with Book Creator. So today in this webinar, we'll start off with a quick overview of Book Creator. Then we'll talk about some project ideas to support SEL goals that you might have for this school year. We'll do a little make and take, so I'm hoping that you will try out Book Creator alongside me today. And we'll talk about how you can share Book Creator books, and we'll finish up with a Q&A at the very end of our time together. Now, before we do this quick overview of Book Creator, I'd love to hear from you in that GoToWebinar control panel. Have you used Book Creator before? Are you totally new to Book Creator? Do you use it every school year? Have you used it across subject areas? I'd love to hear from you if you are someone who is brand new to Book Creator, or if you are a pro when it comes to using this awesome open-ended creation tool. So you can go ahead into that question box and let us know where you're at. Let's see. So some folks have used Book Creator a couple times before. Some of you are totally new to it or haven't used it yet. So awesome. Excited to see that some of you have used it across content areas, a little bit in the previous years. So today we're going to do a quick overview of Book Creator. You'll see me show off some of the features, but if I move a little fast for those of you who are totally new to Book Creator, don't worry. Not only is this webinar being recorded and it will go up on Book Creator's YouTube channel, but on Book Creator's YouTube channel, you can just go to YouTube and search Book Creator. You'll see their username and their channel. There's a lot of recordings, including one where we get hands-on with Book Creator. That's kind of a Book Creator 101 webinar from earlier this year. So if I do move a little fast for anyone who's totally new, just know that that will be there for you as well. So let's go through our overview. Book Creator is an open-ended creation tool for iOS, like that iPad down there, and Chrome, like you see on the right-hand side of the screen. This is a fantastic open-ended tool, and when I use the term open-ended, I mean that there's no one way to use it, right? There's no one activity or only thing that you can do. This is a tool that is really a blank canvas that you can use in lots of different ways on different devices. Now, Book Creator is something students and teachers can use to create and publish their books. So you might make books that you want students to read. You might have your students create collaborative books or independently work on creating their own books so they can create and then publish and share their books with their classmates, their friends, their family, or the whole world. Now, Book Creator is super simple to make interactive pages with voice, text, video, images, and more. So you'll see today that I'm going to combine a bunch of different types of multimedia together to create a book as we model and talk about project ideas. And students of all ages can use Book Creator. So it's something that is really customizable, and you'll hear me today as I talk about some different activities. It's really customizable. You can use it in lots of different ways. Now with Book Creator, so if you haven't used Book Creator in the past year or so, now with Book Creator, teachers can create libraries for their students. So this means you create a Book Creator account, then you make a library, then you invite students into that library, and you can see everything they're working on in real time. So just awesome updates when it comes to workflow. Now, Book Creator, right, we're open-ended creation tool for iOS and Chrome. So we're looking at that today together. Students and teachers can create and publish books with Book Creator. Any user can make interactive pages, so we're focused today on talking about this combination of voice, text, video, images, and more on the page. Students of all ages can use Book Creator, and teachers can create libraries for students. So you can use Book Creator with a project idea like the ones we're going to dive into together today, or you might use Book Creator for digital portfolios, poetry books, step-by-step guides, science reports, learning journals, comics, you name it. There are lots of great resources from the Book Creator team, whether it's a webinar or a free ebook or a blog post that talk about ways to use Book Creator with science classrooms, social studies classrooms, math, ELA, you name it, so many ways to use it. Today, we are focused on making connections to social emotional learning activities. Now, when we talk about this, and I'll point to more resources as we move through, the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning provides the following definition of SEL that I thought would be great for us today to really anchor in our conversation. I'll share resources where you can get more information on their work as we go through the webinar together too. So social and emotional learning, SEL, is the process through which children and adults acquire and effectively apply the knowledge, attitudes, and skills necessary to understand and manage emotions, set and achieve positive goals, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain positive relationships, and make responsible decisions. So today, when we go through a variety of activity ideas, you're going to see that it's really anchored in this definition from the folks at the Collaborative for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning. As we think about these pieces today, you'll see that you can also make connections to goals that you might have for speaking and listening, or goals that you have in the math classroom. So lots of ways to really make this your own when you are thinking about how to customize the activities we're going to look at for your group of students, regardless of the subject area you're teaching or even the age level for your students. So today, as you can kind of see here, I'm doing double duty. I'm hosting, right? And I'm going to facilitate, right, our conversation and bring you out and do a demo so you can see a book creator in action. So as we go through today, there'll be moments when I pause, take you out and show you things live. And I'm hoping you'll use that link that I put in the chat area of the GoToWebinar control panel, app.bookcreator.com, to help you play around, try things out, and ask questions as we go through today. So there are lots of SEL resources in addition to the collaborative for academic, social, and emotional learning, which I'll share a link for you in a moment. Edutopia has some great SEL resources. EdSurge has a collection. ASCD has also dedicated issues of their magazine and parts of their website talking about SEL resources. And I'll share a place where you can get links to more of these resources to really anchor your school's mission around social emotional learning this year. Before we jump into the activity ideas that address some of the things that we saw, right, in this definition for the collaborative for academic, social, and emotional learning, let's talk for a moment. Using that question area of the GoToWebinar control panel, add in your response to the question, what activities have you tried with students related to SEL? So if you have had SEL goals in the past, what are some activities that have helped explore some of these pieces that you've tried with students? Go ahead in that question area. I'll give some shout outs as we get ready to move into some activity ideas. So thinking about some videos that students have created, some social stories, talking about zones of regulation, awesome, things that go along with responsive classroom programs. So lots of things that you've done already to help students connect to the particular goals that you may have around SEL. Awesome. You can keep some of these ideas coming as you add them into that question area of the GoToWebinar control panel. Awesome. Social stories I see here, having books created about good citizenship. Awesome. So much going on here when it comes to things you're already doing related to SEL. I'm excited to talk about some different activity ideas as we go through and look at these pieces too. So let's jump into some activities that you may want to explore, as well as some of the features in Book Creator that can help bring some of these activities to life. So the first one on the list is interviewing community members. So you might have students interview different members of their school community, of the community outside of their school. So this might include using some of the features in Book Creator to help them not just complete this activity, but show off what they've learned. So this might include a photograph of the person they will interview, a map of a special place they talk about in their interview. If you haven't used Book Creator's embedded map tool, it's really fantastic. You can see the picture right there on the screen. You might also have students include an audio recording of part of their interview or even a transcript of their conversation, perhaps playing it back and using the voice to text feature right inside Book Creator. So this is a great way to get kids learning about other folks in the community and then representing what they've learned using some of the awesome features right within Book Creator to create a visual, interactive final product. Now, you might also have students create collaborative books this school year, whether they're collaborating with folks right from within their classroom or in their school building or in their district, or thinking a little bit more globally about collaboration. So students can create a template so that each page has a similar theme. They can choose one font or color scheme for their book, so they can talk about what they want their book to look like. They can compromise, right? Come to an understanding about what it's going to look like. Students can add their name to the bottom of the pages they're working on. So if you're using the collaborative features from within Book Creator, this is a great way for them to establish some norms in terms of collaboration when they're doing some remote collaboration. Students can also create about the authors pages. So this is one where if they are collaborating, they might create a page that talks about both of them and their partner, or they might each create their own page if they're doing a collaborative book. This is a really great way to get kids talking about their topic, no matter what it might be, but also making sure they have opportunities to compromise, evaluate what someone else has brought to the table, and have a product that is something that comes from both themselves and another student too. Another activity is one that was inspired by Chrissy Romano. I'll share where you can learn more about her work and more about this activity. It's called What's in a Name, and it might be one that you use with your group of students to have them introduce themselves at the beginning of the school year. So they might have a picture of their favorite place they like to visit, a voice recording sharing a special story, links to their favorite websites, background colors and font that they love. So it's an opportunity for kids to talk a little bit about themselves, share what it is that they love to do or places they love to visit. You can see here in this demo screenshot, I chose the library as a place that your students or you yourself might love to visit too. So you can type in the name of the place. Maybe it's something really general like library, or maybe it's something really specific like a favorite park in your community. This with Book Creator will let you do a Google image search. It'll tell you where the image is coming from. You can click on the ones you want to add to your page, and it's a great way to add images to a page within your book. So if you're doing this type of activity where students are talking a bit about themselves, sharing special stories, linking to some of their favorite places to watch YouTube videos or to play games or something important to them, they can create a page in one book where every student is contributing a page for a class book, or they might create their own book with a couple different pages and then share that out in a shared class library. So lots of options for customizing this for your group. Of course, depending on the group of students you're working with, you might have students do more work with audio recording, or other students do more work with adding text to the page. Lots of options when it comes to something like this as well. Now, you might also have students participate in a global exchange. This is an idea that came from Jennifer Williams, who's so wonderful, and is also just like the last activity. I've shared her information in a special resource we'll talk about at the end of today. Now, for this one, you might have students create a guide after or before a global exchange that they're having so that they can think about what needs to happen in order to be successful, but then also provide a guide for someone else who might want to try out this experience with their in their classroom as well. So with the Global Exchange Guide, you might have students create a how-to book that talks about how to find a partner class, so what they did to find a class in a certain part of the world. You might have them set up tips or I should say, you might have them pull together the tips for setting up a video conference, what worked well for them, what was a struggle for them, and they can create a guide that they can share with another class interested in a global exchange. You might also have students focus on something more related to what protocols might be for setting up conversations, doing video conferences, or ways to prepare for a conversation. So you could take this in a few different directions when it comes to providing information and making sure that students are being reflective on an activity they've participated in, but then also create a product that could help someone else who might want to participate in a similar type of activity. Now, another activity you can do with students to help come back to some of the goals you might have around SEL this year is to have them not just experience a virtual reality experience, but to write about that virtual reality experience. So this means that you might have had students take part in a VR experience. Maybe they're doing something with 360 images, or they're doing something with 360 video, or they have headsets or Google Expeditions, whatever it might be. Virtual reality is a great opportunity for kids to build empathy, to learn what life is like in different parts of the world. And then after students have those experiences, having conversations around what it was like to visit a particular place, you might have them chronicle their reflections in a book creator creation. So this might include having students leverage some of the awesome features right within inside Book Creator. For example, you might have them search for a map of the place that they visited during that virtual reality experience and share some of the things that they learned during that time. You might have kids search for pictures of places that they want to learn more about. So maybe one VR experience sparked their interest in a particular part of the world, and they want to learn more about not just what life is like there, but what kind of things they could see if they visited there. You might also have students curate a list of links that would help another student learn about a place that they've virtually visited, or even have a text response or an audio response to one of the discussion prompts that you've used in your classroom when students have had that virtual reality experience. So there are just so many different ways you could scale this type of activity for your students, right? If your goal is to help students build more empathy and understand what life is like in different parts of the world, virtual reality can help accomplish that. But you also want to provide a concrete way for students to reflect on that experience, to capture the questions that they still have. And that's something that might happen by having them write about virtual reality experiences too. Next up on the list is setting thoughtfulness goals. So you might have students create something that chronicles some of their goals around how thoughtful they are or how thoughtful they want to be throughout the school year. So this might include a checklist of things that students can do to be a little bit more thoughtful when it comes to interacting with their classmates or interacting in their school community. You might have this go hand in hand with students writing or recording a summary of a time when they were very kind to a friend, thinking about what it might have felt like with both perspectives. You might have students record audio that updates on their progress or captures different moments of kindness. In the screenshot on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see the audio recording is in action, and then you can have students take the circle audio button and drag it onto one of the stars, place it right there on their page, and capture moments of kindness that way as well. You might also have students create a plan for checking in with a partner so that they can say, what could I have done better in this situation? Or what feedback do you have for me? So lots of ways to take this into different directions with your group of students. The next activity on our list is having students connect with a pen pal. Now, what's really special about Book Creator and the teacher dashboard is that a teacher can create a library, then gets an invite code, and they can give that code to students to jump into the library. So you might partner up with another teacher in a different part of the world. You might set up a library so that you are both co-teachers in that library. You might invite your kiddos in to that library, and then they can be virtual pen pals side by side on a page like this layout in Book Creator. Kids can almost have it like a letter format for each page where they can do an audio or text response. Maybe once a week you do this and you have weekly prompts for someone to talk a little bit about what their life is like. Maybe one week you talk about what the weather's been like. The next week you talk about an upcoming holiday or something that they're learning in a particular subject area, or even adding pictures or searching for pictures that show off special moments from the school day. So really great way for kids to learn about what life is like in different parts of the world, how they can pose questions. So something really special you can do in this virtual environment. Before we talk about one more activity and then I take you out for the demo to show what it looks like in action, I'd love to hear which of these activities grab your attention and maybe how you would tailor them to your group of students. So if you love that example of thoughtfulness goals or using virtual reality and capturing responses to it, how would you tailor that to your group of students? Go ahead in that question box and I'll give some shout outs and I'll search and take a look to see if any other questions have come through. I'm glad, Kate, that you like that thoughtfulness goals idea. It's a great way for students to be reflective, but then also to say, this is what it looks like when I'm being thoughtful. I'm glad, Jessica, that the pen pals idea resonated with you. There are so many ways that you can scale that. I'm glad, Kate, you like that too. So the pen pal one is one where you can find a partner class. Maybe you have a teacher that used to teach in your school and then they moved to a different part of the world. So that's one that you might do. Kara, I'm glad that you like the what's in a name for the beginning of the school year. Definitely a great way to get kids talking and sharing as well. And Victoria, you mentioned that the thoughtfulness goal would be good for the beginning of the year. Absolutely, right? So we talk so much about finding other ways to talk about school, like rules or expectations, right? Or what the norms might be in a classroom. If you can define what it looks like to be thoughtful or call out examples of what it looks like and give kids that language, what a great way to do that as well. Awesome. And Karen, I'm glad that the idea of a class book is something as well, so students can pose questions and answer questions and have some common prompts. That's great. Yep. And all of these are ones where when you get kids talking, right, you can really have them learn a little bit more about themselves, about other people in their class. So all of these are things that you could really tailor. You know, it's August right now, so some people are already back to school. Other folks, I'm in New York, right? So we don't go back to school just yet, but it's on the horizon. So this is something where you might tailor this to something you do at the beginning of the school year, or even just as a reset if you're having some, challenges in your class and you want to make sure everyone's back kind of on the same page. So let's share another activity idea, and then I'm going to take you out for a live demo so you can see what it would look like to create this particular type of product. So for this one, it's a finding feelings picture. So you might have students describe or journal how they're feeling. They might look for or search for pictures that represent a feeling. They might put together tips for time when they feel sad or a time when they feel angry or another emotion. And you might even have them add a recording of a story from their own life to the page as well. So lots of ways to tailor something like this. Now, I'm going to take you out in just a moment to my book creator here, but I would love for you to join in and create a book alongside me. So I'm going to take you through steps. You are welcome to sit back and watch, but if you want some hands-on to try things out, you can open up app.bookcreator.com in another web browser. If you do that, you'll then see this page and it prompts first for student sign in. However, you are going to toggle or tap on where it says teacher sign in, and that will give you the option to sign in with Google single sign on. That's what I do. Sign in with Office 365 or Clever if it's being deployed that way in your school, or you can just sign in with any old email no matter who your service provider is. So if you're signing in for the first time, you might see some questions pop up about what grade level you teach or setting up that first library. But at bookcreator.com, I'm going to show it to you on my Chrome web browser. This will take you through this piece that we're going to go into in just a moment. Once you're there, you'll have an opportunity to create a new book, choosing which book shape. Today, and I typically use the landscape when I'm demoing because it fills up the whole screen, you'll see me use landscape. When I did the pen pal side by side, I used portrait. Square is also wonderful. And then there's the comic ones, which we won't talk too much about today, but they're also lovely for students too. So once I choose landscape, I can then go to my blank cover here, use the plus sign, and then add any type of media that I want to. So I'm going to ask you to open up Book Creator and create a page. So if you watch me here, I'm already logged in. I'm going to go to the plus sign for new book, and then I'm going to choose landscape, and I am ready to go. So take a moment now to open up Book Creator and create a page. As you do that, I'll peek and see if any other questions have come through as well. A question came in from Marjorie about a back channel. So we don't have a formal back channel for this webinar, Marjorie. You are welcome to put any questions that you have into the question right where you found it there, and I'll do my best to answer them as we go through. You're also welcome to tweet and use the hashtag book creator or tag book creator app or myself in there as well, and you might see some other folks using that too. This presentation will be uploaded to YouTube. You'll probably have access to it tomorrow. Either way, if you're registered, you're with me today on the webinar, I will make sure to send out the recording as soon as I have it as well. So if you haven't already, go ahead and open up Book Creator and create a page. Once you're in there, we today are going to add a few things and create a feelings journal. So I'm going to hit the plus sign here, and then I have the text option. When that goes, I can then pop up, you'll see this pop up here, and put into the pop up my title, so my feelings journal. Once I've added that and I tap out and done, it will be highlighted in blue. If it's highlighted in blue, I can hit the eye inspector. That will let me change the color, the font, the size, and then I can add this to my page. So we're going to go ahead and add text to our pages for our feelings journals. Let's watch me go through the steps right here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the plus sign, go to text. I'm going to add my feelings journal, hit done. Since it has blue around it, I can tap on there. I can go to inspector. I can change the size. I can go ahead and change the color. I can change the font if I want to and choose from any of these here. And then I can stretch it out, put it right here on my page, maybe make it a little bit bigger here, stretch it out so it goes all the way to the end. Awesome, and place that right here. So if you haven't already, go ahead and add text to your page. Maybe you will add a title just like I did. As you do that, I'm going to go ahead and peek and see if any other questions popped in. Awesome. So go ahead and add that title to your page and let's keep going. So after you have that, you can also change the background of your page. So if you are not tapping on anything and nothing is highlighted in blue, or you just tap on the background of your page here, and then you hit the inspector button, students can choose from any of the backgrounds or colors and choose a pattern for their page. So for something like this, it's a great way for kids to personalize what they've created, set a mood or a tone for what they're making. So here my letters are highlighted in blue, so I'm going to tap out. Then I'm going to hit the eye inspector, and I can go through and choose from some of these colorful comic backgrounds. I can choose from some of the borders if I wanted to. So totally up to me what I want this to look like. I think this one looks pretty good. And then I can tap back out here. So go ahead, if you haven't already, and change the background for yours. Victoria asked about changing the size of the book. So right now I'm in landscape mode. Once you chose from the beginning, that's the one you're going to stick with. If you want everyone in your class to make the same shape book, you'll just want to give them a heads up beforehand. You can combine books that are different shapes, but it usually looks a little bit nicer if everyone's is the same shape. I know I like everything to look a certain way, so I usually will say that to people to choose a particular size before we go to combine it. Awesome. So if you haven't changed the background yet, go ahead and change the background. Next up for us is adding a picture to our feelings journal. So if you hit the plus sign here and then you choose the import button at the top, it will allow you to search for an image from Google, or it'll allow you to upload one yourself. So then you can click on it, select it, and add it to your page. So let's try it here. I'm going to go to the plus sign, import. I'm going to type in flowers. One cool thing about Google image search is you can check and make sure that it's the perfect color that you want it to be. You can click on these and see where they came from, if it's from Flickr or if it's from another website. So you could click on more than one if you want, or you can just choose one. We'll choose this one for here. It's going to upload this to my page, and when I click on it, I can resize it. I can even spin it in one direction if I wanted to, and leave it right there on my page. So if you haven't already, go ahead and add a picture, and I'm going to take a peek, and see if any other questions have come through. Awesome. So you might add a picture from your own Google Drive or your own computer, or you might search for one like I did. Next up, when we come back here, you can go and create a second page and have students put in their feeling journal entry. So you can see here I created a second page. I put in today is September 4th and I feel excited. And then I went to the plus sign and I went to the pen tool. If you haven't seen this yet, I am so excited to show it to you because it's kind of new. It's new this summer. Once you hit the plus sign and the pen tool, there are emojis now inside of Book Creator. So you can search for an emoji by typing in a keyword, or your kids might know exactly which emoji. I was using emoji with high school students today, and they knew exactly which emoji was going to be the one that describes them. So you can choose whichever emoji fits with that feeling, pop that emoji on the page, center it, and leave it wherever you want it to go. So let's go through those steps again here. So I'm going to create another page. I'm going to hit the little arrow. I'm going to go ahead and leave it blank for now, but you could always put another background if you wanted to. I'm going to hit the plus sign and the text tool, and I'm going to say today is August 15th. And I feel excited. So excited you all are here today. So I'm going to hit done. I could go in and I can change the font or maybe make it a little bit bigger, right? Totally up to you what you want to do here to make it your own. I always like things to look a certain way. So we'll go ahead and put this here. I'm actually going to center my text and put it right here at the top. Now I can go to the plus sign, the pen tool, and this is where I'm going to find all of the emojis. So I'm going to hit the emoji button here. I can type in a word if I want to search for an emoji, but I know that I feel excited today, so I could go through and search whichever emoji is going to be the perfect one, and here's my favorite one. So I can plop this here on the page and hit done. Maybe once it's here on the page, I'll move it around to another spot. Let's see, I think mine is just taking a second, but I want to make sure I have this one here. Let's add it right here again. We'll place it right there. I'll hit done, and it should pop up first. Looks like mine Wi-Fi is just being a little lagging here. I'm sure if you do yours, it'll pop right up for you too. So here you can see I've got my title up here at the top, or my entry. Then I have my emoji that goes along with it. So why don't you try to use the pen tool to find and add an emoji to yours? While you do that, I'll take a peek and see if there are any other questions. A question came in about science and math journals for students. Absolutely, Book Creator, you could totally use it for science and math. At the end of the webinar today, I'll show you a place to go to where you can get some more science and math resources. But yeah, perfect for journaling for sure. They can jump into it every time they sign into Book Creator. They can do everyday math journals, once a week science journals, you name it. So after each activity you give them, you might have a prompt, or you might use it more like a reading journal where every day, they add something. So lots of options for that too. So hopefully you found a super fun emoji. If you did make a page like this one here and you want to take a screenshot of it, or you want to snap a picture with your phone and post it on Instagram or on Twitter, make sure to tag at Class Tech Tips, that's me, and then the folks at Book Creator at Book Creator app too, so that they can see what you're working on. So love using these new emoji options right here within Book Creator. But let's keep moving. So you can use the plus sign to also record your voice. This is a great way to have kids tell a story and maybe say, what are you actually excited about? Or what are you feeling excited about today? They can tap record. It will use the microphone on their computer. So if they're using this for the very first time, there might be a little pop-up that says, is it okay to use the microphone? So they just have to say yes. Then they'll hit the start button, and they can record their voice. It'll count down for them, and then it'll start counting how long they're talking. When they're finished, it will have the recording pop up. They'll say, yep, use the recording or delete, and they'll try again. And then it'll add their recording as a little button here on the page. So if you want to go ahead and try this out, hit the plus sign here, then record your voice and add it to the page. So go ahead, try recording your voice. And while you do that, I'll take a peek and see if there are any questions popped up here. Awesome. So try and record your voice, get a feel for what that tool looks like, what it feels like as you go ahead and record your voice there. Awesome. Okay, great. Teresa asked if there's a limit for the recording. That's a great question. I have not come across a limit for how long the recording can be. I think just like rule of thumb, you might want to give kids some parameters for how long they're going to talk so that they're concise and true to their audience. I'll double check with the team at Book Creator to see if there is actually a time limit, but every time I've used it, we've always gotten our message across. And you might have students, if they have a lot to say, to try and break it down page by page anyhow. It might be just better for their audience to connect with as well. So let's keep going. As you are trying these things out, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these tools really jump out at you? What would you use with your students? Is the emoji option just blowing your mind and giving you lots of ideas? Is the recording feature one that you know would help your students talk about their feelings or how their day is going? Or are you really excited about the ability to search for pictures and have kids use vocabulary for keyword searches? What is jumping out for you as you think about some of your priorities for social emotional learning projects this year? Go ahead and use that chat box, and I'll give some shout outs and hear what it's something that jumps out to you. So it might be those emojis is one that's really grabbing your attention. I'm glad, Karen, that you love the narration so students can really reflect. Salika, I'm so glad the emojis are jumping out for you too. Yep, Kathy, those emojis are definitely something that kids can use to say, this is how I'm feeling, or this is a visual representation, or start building their vocabulary to talk about what they see or how they feel. So definitely something to consider. So as we get ready to wrap up and have some time for our Q&A today, I'm always so excited to hear about what tools, like Jessica mentioned about the recording tools being really useful if kids are talking in different languages too, or using emojis, Teresa mentioned, for those first day jitters when they're just building their confidence as writers. So many ways that you can use these tools to differentiate activities for students and give them multiple ways to access the information that you're presenting for them as well. So if you have created a book, so I'm going to come back out here to my book here, and you are ready to share it, or your students are ready to publish theirs, they can come back here to where their feelings journal is. Down here, they can just preview and read the book. Here, they can see all the sharing options. This will allow them to publish it online for the world to see, to download as an ebook, or to print it out. And of course, if you have an invite code, you created a library and shared the code with your students, they will be able to jump in and you can see all their books in real time. So you will create that library, find that invite code, and share that library with students. This will make sure that they get in and are able to make books and you can see them in real time. So important thing to set up. If you look here on my screen, I'm going to come back here, my 3 dashes. This is where all of my libraries are. Any libraries that I'm a part of are down here at the bottom if I've been invited in. So if you have the free version of Book Creator, you can make one library with up to 40 books. If you have the full version of Book Creator, you can make 10 libraries, each with up to 100 books as well. So there are lots of extra resources that the folks at Book Creator have pulled together. They do a free monthly newsletter every month. In addition to their free newsletter, there's a support page which answers all of the questions you could possibly have about using Book Creator. They have a free Facebook group for book creator teachers. If you have a Facebook account, I definitely encourage you to join. Even if you don't plan on posting anything and you just want to lurk and get some ideas, go on your Facebook and at the top of the screen, type in book creator teachers. That'll let you search for it and you can join. There's also monthly Twitter chats where participants can make a collaborative book. And this is what I was mentioning, kind of teasing before. There are all of these resources out there and available: science projects, reading responses, high school, elementary school, you name it. And just this week, I helped out the folks at Book Creator with a new ebook, 10 book creator projects to support social emotional learning. If you go to Book Creator's blog, so if you go to Book Creator's blog, you can find it by going to their website and tapping on blog at the top. You'll see a whole post where you can access a book full of the activities and some extras that we talked about today. So if this is a webinar that's one that you want to make sure you share with other folks or that you've been really excited about, you can see some of the activities and more examples in here, including some of the folks that I gave shout outs to. You'll be able to see that in here too. So I was excited to share activity ideas like the What's in a Name from Chrissy Romano. Her handle is right there for Twitter. Same thing with Jennifer Williams with her global exchange guide idea. So all of that is right here. If you're here in this library, you can also hit resources and you'll find more ideas and more books down here too. So before we finish up, I know there are a couple other questions. If I don't get to yours, you can always send us an email as well. So on Book Creator's website, you can find more of the pricing information. A question came in on that. Students can share their books on cross devices, so they can access them wherever they log in. And yep, world language teachers can definitely use this tool. The audio features make it great for that too. Yep, and if you are looking to share some of your ideas or snaps from tonight, absolutely a question came in about that. Thanks, Elizabeth. You can tag at Book Creator app. You can tag me at Class Tech Tips because I'm always excited to see what you're working on as well. So there are 2 more webinars left in the free summer webinar series from Book Creator. I hope you'll join us on Tuesday of next week for Nurturing Creativity with Book Creator. And finally, our Book Creator and Special Education webinar that first week of September. So thank you all so much for joining today. If you have questions that pop up over the next few days, feel free to reach out. I'll make sure to send out the recording to this webinar so that you have it and you can share it. You can refer back to it and make sure anyone else that you know who wants to know more about Book Creator has everything they need to. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and hope to see you on a Book Creator webinar later this summer.